Now, this is Nights with Dennis Walter.
Round and round, up and down, through the streets of your town.
Yes. Good evening to you, wherever you are. If you're in the car, if you're on the couch, if you're in your Jason recliner, if you are heading to the airport or from the airport, wherever you are tonight, if you're in regional Victoria listening through Ace Radio, hello to you. Great to have you along, and I look forward to your calls right through the evening. You don't have to call, but if you want to, you can. 133 693. Shortly, we're talking council issues, but later in this hour, Dr. Ross Walker, he's been chatting to me for 20-something years on this radio station in various capacities. He'll be here to help you with healthy living. After 9 tonight, Andrew McLaren. On Monday on this very radio station, he was talking about stray eyebrow hairs. For heaven's sake, can he come up with a better topic? We'll be talking to him after 9, and joining us for the Wednesday nightcap will be Jane Holmes, which will be an absolute pleasure. She might bring a bit of decorum to an hour of madness. Maybe not. We'll see what happens. Peter Hitchener after 10. We've got a great quiz for you. And, of course, after 11, the Daily Wrap with lots of good topics and lots of your calls, which make the program. Joining me in the studio, though, is Theo Zagrafos, who is a Monash councillor. Theo, good evening.
Good evening, Dennis. Stray eyebrow hairs is my specialty, by the way.
Yeah, I know, but do we really need to discuss it on the radio? Seriously.
Not at the minute. Not at the minute.
No, not at the minute. We'll do that after 9. Theo, where... Are there people who are employed in councils who feel a need, because they've been employed in particular areas, to change what has been successful?
Well, tell me more, because that's a very broad comment.
Well, there's a plan from the City of Greater Geelong, who are very supportive of me. They're very supportive of my Carols event at the waterfront each year, and I appreciate that so much. But there's a little shopping centre called Highton Shopping Centre, and it's perfect, Theo. Since late 1960s, it has not changed that much because it's always worked. Can I just give you a bit of an explanation of how it works?
Please.
It's a local shopping centre. You can always get a park. Those parks are usually within 50 metres of any store you want to go to. There's a butcher, a baker, a bottle shop, a newsagent, a Woolies supermarket, a Bendigo bank. There are 4 or 5 coffee shops, dress shops, a post office, 3 hairdressers, places to go and get beauty work done, like Andrew McLaren could go and get his eyebrows fixed, real estate agents, gift shops, chemists, 2 chemists, bread shops, a medical centre, a framing shop, a health food store. There have been places where you can go and get x-rays and stuff done as well. There are a few restaurants as well. Everything any local shopping centre should offer, but there's a plan to change the whole vibe of the shopping centre to reduce the amount of parking, which works absolutely perfectly. Why do councils need to fiddle? There's a big petition going with the local member at the moment, Darren Cheeseman. Mm-hmm. You don't need to fiddle with things that work.
Well, that's my personal mantra, Dennis, but I would like to know what the businesses there think of this, because rarely does a council go into a shopping precinct without the support of either the local traders association or the local businesses. And if they're on board, well, then there must be a reason for that. But, that I don't know.
Well, the only thing that has come out of lots of sort of monitoring of local residents is that, yes, the footpaths are a bit wonky after 50 years.
Yep.
They need to be straightened out so they're nice and flat and safe. But other than that, locals don't want much change. They just want it to keep going because it's almost perfection.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and obviously there's some way to go on the project if there's a petition to, I assume, to halt it or to review it. In my experience, a lot of the time when councils want to get rid of parking spaces, it's because they believe that there's enough public transport options nearby, whether it's a bus or a train, etc. To alleviate.
No.
But
this is a shopping centre most people walk to or drive to.
Yeah, you need the car. Well, look, I don't know Geelong as well as you do, obviously, but if Darren Cheeseman's involved, then maybe there's a way out over the long term.
Well, I hope so, because honestly, it's there's just absolutely nothing other than slightly uneven footpaths that need to be repaired. It's got lovely trees, it's got a lovely vibe, it has two fairly major roads either end of it. There's something in the plan that says that all traffic will only go in one direction. Well, bloody hell, that will be a disaster. But it just doesn't need touching. Anyway, I'd love to hear if there's any local happens to be listening right now. 133693. Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? And maybe there's an issue within wherever you're listening tonight to do with local council. Theo, are you happy for me to throw you in the deep end of the pool here?
Throw those daggers at me, Dennis. Let's do it.
Theo, you're a good man, Theo. 133693. So in your experience, there would be maybe some of the businesses in that shopping centre that might be saying, okay, we need a bit of an upgrade.
Well, either they've been lobbying for some sort of upgrade or they're in support of the proposal. Absolutely. That's certainly been my experience at Monash. In fact, I had a meeting yesterday about similar matters in Oakley. And whenever we've had material changes, whether it's a new road or upgrading the footpaths in a shopping precinct, it's always been after we've consulted widely with as many businesses as possible, writing to them, meeting with them, speaking to them, and asking them their feedback. So, I don't know, maybe Geelong does things differently, but that's been my experience.
Yeah, I'm not sure. 133693. Outdoor dining in Monash, Theo, because outdoor dining in the city is under the pump tonight because the talk now, even though the city is, and I don't care what figures they give you, the city is not back to anywhere near what it used to be. And the outdoor dining venues are maybe about to be hit again with fees that are probably not affordable at the moment.
Yeah, look, I did see there was a decision that Melbourne Council made to reinstate the fees for outdoor dining. I'm not across that, but down in my neck of the woods, we did have the outdoor dining that came out of COVID. So your parklets and your, they call them temporary outdoor dining spaces that were taking up car spaces. We did make a decision a few months ago to remove those, and I was personally against that. Because the feedback was that they were being used and they were successful across Monash. I was very pleased that last night the council decided to bring them back over the next 6 to 12 months with a new policy in place where traders can now formally apply and have those structures back. So I wanted to just let you know of that, Dennis. I know that we had spoken about it some months back, and I think that's the right move. 133693. The board is lighting up, Theo. John, good evening.
Oh, good evening. Just a gripe against Whitehorse Council. It's previous councillors, mayors, etc., always said a greenscape, a nice green area, and they're nudescaping so many blocks. You have a look around our area. There's a beautiful old mansion. 32 trees went. What happens to all the wildlife? Other blocks and residents in the whole area are up in arms against the council for all they do is they come along, get rid of a home, and there is a nude block. Moonscape every block.
John, that's an interesting perspective because there are residential developments where there are new homes where people are told what they can plant, and there are other areas where people are told where they're not allowed to remove trees, and yet council can come in and go, whoosh, and they're all gone.
I reckon they've got arborists in their back pocket that come along and say, oh, the tree is diseased. I have seen it so many times because I do a little bit of garden maintenance and lawn mowing and that, and I'm just horrified, you know. And I used to have 4 lovely magpies. Now I have 34 that will turn up. What happens to their nesting and roosting areas?
John,
Possum,
thank you.
Westrock Centre. Kiss.
Let's see what Theo has to say.
Look, thanks, Dennis. Look, John, I'm not familiar with those particular locations in Whitehorse, but my assumption would be that when they do build on that parcel of land, they will plant new trees. So very rarely in Monash do we say, yes, you can remove trees, but you can just leave them without being replaced. And yes, sometimes arborists, do find disease trees, but in my experience, the councils generally, or almost always in Monash, will fight to save as many trees as possible. That's been my experience.
Wonderful 3693. Deborah, good evening.
Oh, hi, Dennis. I'm ringing regarding Highton Shopping Centre.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Belmont, and I walked into the little gift shop that was there probably a couple of months ago, and they had a petition on the counter, and I was absolutely horrified, to say the least, when I saw that what the plan was. I just couldn't believe it. Yes, maybe do up the footpaths, as you have said, but apart from that, pulling out all the trees, and I did think that maybe they were putting in some bike lanes. I feel like that was there as well. But yes, I was just ringing up because I am a local and I have walked there and I've shopped there for many, many years.
Deborah,
So, yes.
seriously, and I'm not doing this as a criticism of council, but maybe someone within it. Deborah, it is almost perfect, that shopping. You couldn't get a better little shopping strip, seriously.
It's got exactly what you say. It's got the mix, and 9 times out of 10 you can drive around the corner there. The parks are quite big, the ones that are out the front of the shops.
Yep.
My mother's in a place nearby there, so I've shopped there on a very regular basis. So I was absolutely horrified, and I was just in the door, turned you on, and then you were talking about that, so that's why I rang.
But Deborah, what happens when they start, if it goes ahead and they start altering it and putting maybe a multi-storey building in some point and reducing the car parking? It will kill the businesses and it will kill the shopping centre.
No doubt. And as you said, you can go out, you can go to the butchers, the Botlio, the lovely fruit shop there. It's got a mix of cafe. It's
Harvey's,
got everything. It's just a lovely little shopping centre, as you say, and people enjoy going there. There's always lots of people there.
It's
and
a
it's an
celebration
older area.
Yes, it's a celebration of community, and people actually come from all areas, Theo, of Geelong to shop at this shopping centre because it's so easy.
Yeah, well, you're making me want a detour there on the way home, Dennis, to go.
Get in your car with your family this weekend. I'll meet you there Saturday morning for a coffee at 11.
On the weekend. Yeah, definitely we can do that.
Theo Zagrafos is with me, Monash Councillor. Deborah, thanks for your call. Wonderful 3693. Local councils, do you have a bit of a gripe? Theo is here to be pinned to the wall. Geelong captain Joel Selwood has announced his retirement from the AFL. 355 games for the Cats. Ash Barty retired shortly after she won the Australian Open. I think both of them have picked the right time to retire. Theo Zagrafos is with me. Theo, incredible contribution from Joel.
Oh, look, he has been exceptional, and elite sports in itself to last a year or two is an achievement. To be a captain and a premiership captain and a full-time premiership player is very unique. So well done to him. I'm not a Geelong fan myself, but well done, and it's great timing.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just have to put it out there.
Well, let's ended that topic. Anyway, I thought it was quite good.
Joel, actually, I can see the balloons in your office, Dennis. Probably not going to come down. I just saw that as I was walking in, the blue and white
but honestly,
balloons.
he's a terrific bloke. What a great player. What a contribution. And I can't believe that on Twitter there were people criticising him for supposedly making fun of older people. What they were actually doing was celebrating the fact that older people have got plenty to offer.
Yep, absolutely. And people, are retiring later in life. You look at Joe Biden, for example, and many others. So, look, he's been an exceptional leader. Hopefully the person that replaces him as captain, is a fraction, or at least has at least a fraction of his leadership skills.
I wonder where we'll go from here, but there'll be plenty of things on offer. Wonderful 3693. Hello, Ricky.
Hello, Dennis and Theo. Look, I'm ringing up about the council we're involved with. They've gone crazy. we're
not Monash, is
we're
it?
in Nibblick,
Right.
or
Nillumbik. Yep.
Nillumbik, yeah.
And we live on quite a large property. My wife and I, both in our late 60s, we're in a little cottage, and our daughter and grandchildren live in the big house. And there was no fencing around the house, and so because we couldn't let the granddaughter out after school because she runs away and we couldn't catch her, and they bought a little dog for a little cavoodle, and we couldn't let that outside. So they rang up a fencer who's been doing fencing in Nibblick for 40 years and said, look, we'd like a nice picket fence along the side of the property, not across the front, just across the side. So our grandchildren, won't get onto the traffic, or the little dog won't run away.
Right.
So he built this beautiful picket fence, and it cost $25,000. And then the council come along and said, if you don't pull it down, you'll have a $22,000 fine and $15,000 for us to come and tear it down.
Why, Ricky? What was the problem with the fence? And Theo, just before we go ahead here, do people have to actually apply to put a fence up?
It seems like they had to in this case. Yeah, there was no permit for it. I'm assuming Ricky will tell us.
Well, the gentleman that built it is a beautiful old fellow. He's 75, and he's been doing them for 40 years, and he's never had to get a permit once, And
right.
we kept on asking him, do we need a permit? And he said, no.
Yeah.
But we've got a person who lives close by who's he complains about everything. So he put a complaint into the council, and they come out, and next thing they got a letter saying to tear it down, or there's a $22,000 fine and $15,000 for us to come and tear it down.
But Theo, couldn't there be some sort of situation where they could do some retrospective application for this fence rather than telling them to pull it down and or incur after $25,000 to build it, another $22,000 fine, $47,000 for heaven's sake?
Yeah, look, Dennis, without knowing all the facts in greater detail, yes, he could go to a council meeting, so a councillor could bring it to a council meeting and then retrospectively approve it. So there's always the political layer, so not the bureaucratic one, the political one that sits above the bureaucratic process. So I don't know whether that's happened or not, Ricky, but if it's not too late, you could do that. I don't know if you've pulled the fence down, but unfortunately, it might be a subdivision matter now, just thinking about it. But yes, if your neighbour has, reported it, that's the most likely way that the council were aware of it, and they're probably just following the letter to the law. But in future, for anyone else listening, always go to a council law because they're more likely to take it up and take it to that next step.
Ricky, thank you for your call. I hope you can resolve that. Theo, health is a big issue heading into this state election. There's a big argument between Matthew Guy and Daniel Andrews about hospitals. How big an issue is it? I think it's huge. Oh,
it's the issue. It's the issue in the state election. It was the issue in the South Australian election 7 or so months ago. And I looked at this story today, Dennis, and I was flabbergasted that the Premier was differentiating between patients in the private sector, private hospitals rather, and the public hospitals. I just thought that was, you can talk about privatisation, which is what is a general attack at Liberal governments, but to talk about patients in the private hospital system, I was just amazed. I would hope that he walks that back over the next few days. But he knows that on this issue, both sides have very detailed plans, and, some of them are resonating.
Yes, they are resonating. And a lack of apology for people in public housing too was an odd one today. Hey, Brooke, what have you got for us?
I'm Brooke here. I'm just ringing up to tell you that there's been a massive, I think it was some sort of explosion in a house in Bayswater.
Right.
And we've all lost our power. The emergency services are over on Mountain Highway at a house.
Okay.
But there were 2 booms like one after the other. We thought there was a massive car accident, but seemingly there's been an explosion at a house.
Oh, so we don't know exactly what it sounds like. There's been an explosion.
No, you could hear it. And now
Okay.
the emergency services are at this house on Mountain Highway, and everybody in Bayswater and some in Wanturna have lost power.
Brooke, stay with us. We will look into it, and no matter who I'm talking to, we'll bring any information to you as soon as we possibly can. Brooke, thank you. Theo Zagrafos, we can't blame you for everything, but we'll do our best.
That's my wife's job. Thanks, Dennis.
Good on you, mate. Thank you.
See ya.
Monash Councillor Theo Zagrafos, a part of Wednesday nights here on 3AW. It's 27 to 9.